It has been one of the most anticipated moments of the year here on AG the channel. And after all the anticipation, all the waiting, we are finally here on the last day of January in 2025 to begin the third edition of the Wawa Cup Series. We are here as we have always started out the Wawa Cup Series at the new Smyrna Speedway. Tonight, 36 full-time drivers will take to this half-mile short track. Many heats, last chance qualifier events, and then the 75-lap main event. A non-points event to open up the season, but it's the race that everyone wants to win to open up the season. It's the Mello Yello SmoothFest. We're here to open up the 2025 season here in the Wawa Cup Series at new Smyrna Speedway. Hello everybody, this is AG here, and welcome to the new Smyrna Speedway as we open up the 2025 Wawa Cup Series here tonight. And this is not a points race, but like I said, it is a race that everyone wants to win, get those bragging rights to open up the 2025 season. So much anticipation leading up into this season here, so many new drivers in new places. But we have the champion who will lead us off here tonight of Ladova looking to defend her title next week at the Auto Club Speedway. That'll be the first official points race of the season. Tonight, these drivers are focused on one thing and one thing only, winning this Mello Yello SmoothFest. Joined alongside Stuart Grattan, the owner of Grattan Autosport, and Murray Papiani, who is usually in the IndyCar booth for the Indy 250 with us, but you're going to be hearing him alongside us in the Wawa Cup Series this season. Great to have him alongside. But Stuart, I will start off with you. You have a lot of anticipation leading up into this season for Grattan Autosports and the whole Grattan Alliance, if you want to call it that. But you got Ladovich right here, defending Wawa Cup Series champion. What are you looking for in her tonight in this first non-points event of the season going into this 2025 season?
Well, it's hopefully going to be a bit better than it was last year for Ladovic, who flipped over in the main event. So keeping it clean would be the number one thing. But more so the car performance. It's obviously very early days. We've got the new ratings system for both the drivers and the teams. So expect the car to be a bit better here in this race than it was a year ago. And obviously, it's a non-points event, so have a bit of fun. But keep it clean and we'll see how the car performs. It's not the be-all and end-all because we've still got a long way to go. A lot of development in the season. So it's just about keeping it clean more so, and we'll see what the speed's like.
And Murray, welcome to the Wawa Cup Series. Again, you did call that race in Nelson Ledges back in October. You got a taste of what this is all like, but this is a big one here for these guys. And even though it's a non-points event, everybody wants to win this race. So going into it here, what are you looking forward to the most here tonight in this Mello Yello SmoothFest with all the action we've got going on here at New Smyrna Speedway?
Well, I love me some heat racing. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm looking forward to not so many cars, not so many laps, and people making some desperate moves to get to the front.
And of course, we saw a lot of that over the course of the past few days here at New Smyrna Speedway as well. At both of the Body Armor Light Series races, what a race it was last night, and I don't want to spoil it for you, Stuart, right now. But you'll be happy to know that Josh Marzak won last night in the Light Series race in a very thrilling event. They were sliding around, going all over the place, but it was a very nice, clean race for the majority of that one. Body Armor Pro Series was great last week as well. But once we get to the end tonight, it's going to be the most cars that we have seen on this racetrack sans the Sprint Series race we had on Wednesday night all week. And we're going to have 24 cars in the feature event. But how do you get there? That's the big question. Well, if you're new to this event, welcome to the best opening race of NR 2003. I always say that every year, but I love the name. I came up with it 10 years ago, Mello Yello SmoothFest, and it's always stuck no matter where this race has been. And hey, we're still in New Smyrna Speedway. They changed it in NASCAR. We're still here in New Smyrna Speedway because this is a darn good short track. And we've got heat races. We got LCQs. You see it right there on your screen how all of this works. And it's very similar to how the NASCAR Clash is run. It is going to be 4 heats. The top 5 finishers in each heat advance on to the feature event. They're locked into the main show, and then those who do not advance on will go to 2 last chance qualifier races, slightly different than what they're doing in NASCAR this year. They only got 1 in the real life clash this year. We've got 2 of them, and the top 2 finishers from each of the LCQs get the final 2 spots in each respective row. And whoever wins this race wins the pole for the feature event. That's the big thing. Heat number 1 is for that pole position, and then 5th place, 9th place, 13th place, 17th place, going through the order in the feature event of the top 5 drivers who finish here in this heat. But let's go ahead and get to it. We don't want to waste your time. You guys have been waiting long enough. Let's show you the 9 drivers who are racing here in heat number 1, and it starts out with our defending Wawa Cup Series champion of Ludovic Charette there, driving for Graden Autosport, won 4 races last year, and looking to get the season started off right with a Mello Yello SmoothFest win. Alongside her, it is Jack Haas driving for and returning to Evans Ross Racing in the number 39. Jack Haas got a win in Martinsville last year. He is very good on the short track. Watch out for him here tonight. Braden Perez moves over to Millennium Motorsports, and Perez made the chase the past 2 years. He's looking to get this season started off correctly alongside Travis Crampton, who has been with the NS Racing team since the first season of the Wawa Cup Series, driving the number 98. Bryce Egan is now with Trackhouse Racing in the number 9. Bryce Egan had a stellar rookie season, even though he did not go to victory lane. A lot of eyes were on him, and Reggie Fogelman decided to pick him up here for the 2025 season. Angel Gutierrez returns to Millennium Motorsports. He got a race victory at Bristol last year. Andrew Miller driving for Durrani Racing in the number 86. Andrew has told me to my face multiple times that this is going to be his year. We'll see if that ends up being the case here tonight. He's alongside the first ever winner on the channel, Jesse Turner, and the driver who almost won that first race, Christian Master, back full-time in the Wawa Cup Series, driving there for Andrews Racing in the number 69. Jesse Turner driving for Hamill Racing Enterprises here in the 2025 season. Let's go ahead and give these drivers a roll off here. For heat number 1, only 15 laps here in each of these heats, so it's going to be a lot of action and not a lot of time here at the new Smyrna Speedway. All right, and Murray, I'm going to put you on the spot. Who do you think is going to win this first heat here at the new Smyrna Speedway?
Oh man, you know how I do with on-the-spot questions. Let's go. I'm going with the wild card. I'm going with Andrew Miller, starting from 7th place.
And like I said, he's been talking to me all off season. This is going to be his year. You heard him at the end of the Thanksgiving 500. Probably heard him last night as well. He's calling that race with us in the late series. He starts in the 7th position. Top 5 advance on to the feature event. The winner of this race gets the pole for the feature event. Everybody else to LCQ number 1. Ludovic Charette and Jack Haas. You folks have waited long enough for the beginning of the Wawa Cup Series. Well, here it is, here tonight at the new Smyrna Speedway. We're green flag racing in the Mello Yello SmoothFest. Oh boy, we saw a lot of that last night, and that was almost direct. We saw that in the Pro Series race last week when Ludovic Charette got sent to the wall, but she avoids any contact there with the wall and leads lap 1 of heat number 1. Braden Perez, Bryce Egan, and there's Andrew Miller, your pick, Murray, on the inside lane of Travis Crampton, and Jack Haas. An inside lane is exactly where you want to be to start off this race.
Absolutely. It's hard to make your way back on the inside given how short these heats are. As you see, Charette goes up the racetrack. There goes Braden Perez to the inside for the lead. It's so hard to make up that ground from the rear. It's not impossible, but it is certainly a much better starting on the inside. Perez is going to take the lead. And Bryce Egan, he's a guy that you're going to have to watch this year in the 9 for Trackhouse. Made the chase last year with Daniel Paulus in the 24, now the 9. And he's going to the inside for the lead.
And Bryce Egan looking to take it away here. 5 laps into this one. Last transfer of position, Christian Master to the inside of Jack Haas. Jack Haas continuing to fall back in the 39. Ludovic Charette back on the inside, trying to take a lead back away from Bryce Egan. Andrew Miller's up here as well. Murray, you knew something about that 86 machine. Here he is running in the top 5, looking to advance onto the feature.
Well, you know, the way you described it, he was talking himself up, so we'll see if he can back up his words, right? But yeah, no, about that final transfer spot, it's really interesting to see the outside pole sitter fall back as we got a pass for the lead here, Charette, to the inside into 1.
Ludovic Charette looking to take this away. I know you like to see that, Stuart, but Braden Perez also looking very strong here in this heat. And these guys know it's for the pole in the feature event for that first starting position in the 75-lap feature later on tonight. They definitely want to get it done here in this heat and have the best opportunity at winning the Mello Yello SmoothFest here tonight. Andrew Miller trying to gain a position. Each spot is worth 4 positions to start in the feature event, so these guys are going to be going for it, and Braden Perez might be going for it right here. Great run to the inside of Bryce Egan. Looking to the inside there. Can't quite get it on Ludovic Charette, who clearly has a fast race car, as we all expected going into the season, but Perez is going to try right there. And Jack is trying to reel in the last spot to transfer on. Travis Crampton currently holds on to the last transfer spot as Braden Perez goes to the inside here on lap number 10.
Well, I'm Ludovic. I want to try and get down to that bottom as soon as you possibly can, because Haas now closing in for that last transfer spot. Closing in on Crampton. You don't want to be held up top for too long. Perez in the lead, Egan second, Andrew Miller. I tell you, he's talking himself up, and it's not the be-all and end-all this race, but he's off to a good start. The car looks fast and right up amongst this leading group. Surprised Travis Crampton in the 98 hasn't quite been able to catch him, and now he's under a bit of pressure from the 39 of Haas, and we know that Echo Evans-Ross and Evans-Ross Racing are going to be fast this year. Jack Haas is going to be fast this year, so we'll see here how he goes with the 98 or potentially the 51.
And he's got to be careful, but the good thing is if he's the first one to fail to qualify, he'll start first in the LCQ. 3 laps to go, and Bryce Egan to the inside of Braden Perez for the race lead here in Heat 1. And Andrew Miller, he's just methodically been working his way through the field. That's what Josh Marzak did last night in the Light Series race. And now we got 2 laps to go here in Heat number 1 for Bryce Egan in Trackhouse Racing.
Andrew Miller in second, and your driver, Stuart Charette, back on the inside just like you wanted. And joining this party at the front is the 98 of Travis Crampton.
And Travis trying to advance his way on. He's got a good gap behind him, but it's Bryce Egan taking the white flag here in Heat 1. Little wide there through the exit at turn number 2. We've seen a lot of that throughout the whole week. We'll see a lot more of that here tonight. Andrew Miller going to try to close in. Regardless, Miller's going to have a great starting position, and Bryce Egan kicks it off correctly with the Heat 1 win, and he will lead him off to the green flag for the feature event later on tonight. Andrew Miller, Braden Perez, Ludovic Charette, and Travis Crampton advance on to the feature. Angel Gutierrez will have the pole in LCQ number 1. Jack Haas, Jesse Turner, and Christian Master fail to advance, but they will all run in LCQ number 1 in a few moments. Still got 3 more heats left to go. That was a nice, calm race. Nice way to start off the Mello Yello SmoothFest. Who wanted to be smooth here from the new Smyrna Speedway. Take a look there at the official results there. All right, guys. Bryce Egan, that you said it, Stuart. A team and driver combination to watch out for this season there at Trackhouse Racing. Gets the Heat 1 win, and he's going to be starting on the pole for the feature event. Andrew Miller, Braden Perez, Ludovic Charette. She made it in. But I think you want a little bit more than that, Stuart. Regardless, she's still in it. Travis Crampton gets the last transfer spot. Thoughts on this one, and what do you think we're going to see in Heat number 2?
Well, it was pretty well composed. There was that near accident at the start, and luckily nothing came of it. But yeah, I do expect that some of these heats will go a little bit. We'll get a little bit crazier. We might see some crashes throughout. We're obviously going to be more likely to see it in the LCQ and the main event, which are longer events. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. They kept it nice and clean, and the top 5 were able to maintain their position basically the whole race. Travis Crampton was somewhat challenged by Haas, but then Gutierrez got around the 39. So, really, top 5 were in. Once they got to the top 5 positions, they were pretty well safe. So I don't expect that to be the case for all the heats. I do expect maybe some of the others will be a little bit crazier in terms of drivers moving up and down throughout the field as we get into the later stages of the heats.
We'll just have to see how it all goes down. Bryce Egan is going to start on the pole for the feature, so he is going to enjoy the rest of these heats in LCQ, seeing how it all goes down, knowing that he's got that pole position for the main event later on tonight. All right, let's go ahead and get to heat number 2. Introduce, I should say, 9 other drivers who are full-time here in the 2025 Wawa Cup Series. And here we go for heat number 2. Introducing 9 more of these full-time drivers here in the 2025 season. And I think the big story, the big driver that we have here in heat number 2 is the gentleman starting on the pole position. Runner-up in the championship last year, Blaine Keys, moving from Racing Motorsports over to Pacific Racing. And we know how good Pacific Racing is. Brandon Wilmington takes this very seriously as well, Stuart. You know that very well. But Kirsten Bell alongside Blaine Keys, she's also a very good driver, won 2 races last year. Of course, Blaine Keys won 6 of them last year and was the Mello Yello SmoothFest winner 2 years ago. So, Stuart, I'm going to go ahead and ask you, how do you think Blaine is going to maneuver this race here, knowing that he's won here before, knowing that he won here last week? Sorry to spoil that one as well, but I have to say it. And knowing that he's got a big chip on his shoulder after what happened last year in that Wawa Cup Series championship.
I think for him, again, it's just about getting to the main event more than anything else. Obviously, higher up the order would be nicer, but they are starting on the outside. All these drivers will be starting on the outside if they get through in the top 5. So just about making sure you get through that top 5 and going from there, keeping the car clean and see how we go. Obviously, Pacific are very, very fast. They always have been. And Blaine, of course, is just unstoppable, to be honest with you, at the moment. So he won the Truck Championship, second in the Cup Championship, and I think he's got with all due respect to Racing Motorsports, I think the team is, Pacific is a bit of a better team than Racing Motorsports. So, yeah, I think, just making sure you get through this cleanly, top 5, and then main event, go for it.
We'll have to see if that ends up being the case here. Of course, Ludovic Charette finished 4th in Heat 1, was good enough to advance onto the feature, but maybe not necessarily what the defending champion wanted to see going in. We'll see what Blaine does in the 32 machine. Of course, like I said, won last week in the Body Armor Pro Series race. Already 2 wins. We're not even the February yet. He may get win number 3 here tonight. We'll just have to see. Blaine Keys does start on the pole here for Heat number 2. This will be for the second starting position in the feature event. Will be 2nd, 6th, 10th, 14th, and 18th. I got it right there. Those are the 5 positions for the top 5 that advance on. Kirsten Bell, like I mentioned, 2-time winner last year, made the chase with Evans Ross Racing, and this is a team that is very much going to contend for the owner's title, along with Pacific Racing, though Jack Haas did not have a good run in Heat number 1. Yeah, Trey Bartow, still in the number 4 after all of these years, and of course one of the longest running drivers. Of course, Blaine Keys has been driving for a long time as well. He was in that very first race along with Bartow back in 2015, alongside Brian Webb there in the 43, making the move over to Racing Motorsports this season, essentially taking over the ride that Blaine Keys drove last year. Trey Bartow, of course, returning to Hairgel Motorsports. You got Avery Alford making the move over to Team Williams this season. It was the winner of the opening race last year at the Homestead Miami Speedway. Philip Torres joins Hairgel Motorsports and the 52 machine. Yep, and under the Oliveira in the number 0 machine for Rut Racing, Joe Rutkowski's team right there. This car was up front in a lot of races last year when Matthew Hubert was driving it. The Oliveira's alongside Tanner Parton there in the number 97. Making the move over to NS Racing, a great opportunity for Tanner Parton. This is easily the best car that Tanner has been in during his Wawa Cup Series career. And this one right here, Stuart, I know is a close one for you. Isaac Nichols, fellow countryman right there, driving for the newly formed Parker Davis Enterprises, which is in fact under the umbrella of Grattan Racing Technologies. So expect some good things out of Max Davis's team this season. Let's go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here for heat number 2. And Stuart, I'll let you pick here in heat number 2. Who's getting it done here in heat number 2?
My heart says Isaac in the 6, but hard to bet against Blaine at the moment in the 32. He starts up front, and I think if Kirsten started on the inside, I have a bit more confidence in the 93. But the outside, at the start, you drop a lot of ground. So for me, I'm going to go to 32.
Can't go against Blaine Keys, not after what he's done the past 2 Friday nights here on the channel. We'll see if he gets 3 in a row, but this does not count as an official win, so even if he wins this one, doesn't mean he's going to win the feature. We'll have to see how it goes down. Here we go. Blaine Keys, Kirsten Bell, Heat 2 underway in the Mello Yello SmoothFest. And Trey Bartow, I have to say this now. I don't think we'll be talking about his sponsor, but you will see it. But we allowed it. We allow friendly competition, and we allow Trey Bartow leading these races. We love to see it. Trey Bartow is a longtime veteran. Same with Blaine Keys. Like I mentioned, both of these drivers were in the very first race on the channel back in 2015. But Keys going to take it right back away from Trey Bartow there and lead lap number 2.
Yeah, Blaine not mucking around. Neither was Trey, to be honest. He got off to a really good start in the 4, but unable to hold the lead. De Oliveira's doing a good job here in the 0. As Blaine goes up the racetrack, and that was close there between him and Trey Bartow, but Bartow back to the inside. And Isaac doing a good job as well in 4th. That's close there between those two. We'll see if the field moves around a bit more than they did in the first heat. Will be interesting to see. And here's a guy that I think will have a good year. Tanner Parton trying to get into that last transfer spot at the moment.
And Tanner Parton driving for NS Racing there. That's a team your driver, Murray, used to drive for in the IndyCar series, but now your driver, Jay Knapp's going to be driving for Groton Autosport, which is definitely a great team to be on. But how are you liking this one so far, Murray? Some great racing here is Bernardo de Oliveira looking to take the lead away from Trey Bartow here in lap number 6.
Yeah, I'm surprised about a few things. I like the back and forth that we've seen for the lead in both of these heats so far, and I'm impressed by Nichols in the 6 here as he goes for 2nd place on the 4. Another driver I wanted to talk about is the 93 of Kirsten Bell. Not to sound all Midwest emo, but she's gone from 1st to last. So we'll just have to wait and see. Something must be up with this team on the short tracks right now, because they're just not looking so great. But good racing so far, as I think we got the 0 car in the lead now.
Bernardo de Oliveira out front here. Did not have the best of seasons last year with Durrani Racing, moving over to Rut Racing this season, and I know he's excited for this season. But how about this? We got the first to last challenge and the last to first challenge going on here. Isaac Nichols trying to close in, has not run on the channel outside of the Pro Series races that he's already been in so far this year. Has not run in a Cup Series event since 2018, but he is looking to take this lead away here in heat number 2, get that 2nd starting position. Blaine Keys to the inside of Tanner Parton, that's for 3rd, and like I said earlier, each of these spots is worth 4 starting positions in the feature. The last transfer spot getting swapped from Brian Webb, for Brian Webb I should say, from Trey Bartow. Parton almost putting Keys in the wall, and Keys has to be careful not to get put in a position where he'll have to go to the LCQ, because he is a little ways back. De Oliveira still holding on to the race lead. Blaine Keys trying to get back to the inside of Tanner Parton for 3rd. And Brian Webb is right here for Racing Motorsports. That's a good team. That's the team Blaine Keys drove for last year and took the victory lane 6 times. And Brian Webb taking every advantage of this opportunity. Arizona Motorsports drivers battling with Torres and Bartow, but that is not for a transfer position. They got to get around Brian Webb to transfer to the feature at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all going hell for leather at the moment back there. But Bernardo's doing a really good job in the 0 in the lead. Rut Racing, did a great job with Hubert last year. And, Bernardo had a tough year with Durrani Racing, but he's doing a really good job in the lead. These two have pulled away. Top 2 have pulled away. They'll be secure. Parton to the inside of Blaine Keys for that position. And Blaine's got to try and get back to the inside, otherwise might see himself vulnerable here on this last lap.
And it is the white flag here in heat number 2. It's not over for the lead yet. De Oliveira is going to push up wide, and here comes Isaac Nichols. And Blaine Keys better watch out as well back in there. Isaac Nichols pushing up on De Oliveira. And how about this, Stuart? From 9th to 1st in 15 laps, Nichols gets it, and Blaine Keys barely makes it onto the feature as he finishes 5th there in the 32 machine, just ahead of Philip Torres.
That was close with the 32. And I talked about just trying to get into the top 5 and almost fell out at the end. But that Isaac, hey, that's a really, really good sign for the 6 team and for Parker Davis Enterprises. First race, first win. No, it's not an official win, but it's impressive nonetheless. And when you look at these results, impressive by De Oliveira. Tanner Parton as well went from 8th to the 3rd position. It looked quite good. Was really battling there with Blaine. But, a couple of chasers missing out from a year ago, and Bartow and Bell have got some work to do.
And they will be starting outside, or inside, I should say, of LCQ number, I want to make sure I actually have this right. No, they'll actually be outside of LCQ number 1. So they will be joining the 4 drivers who missed out in the first heat there. And they'll be on the outside starting positions there in LCQ number 1. That is a 30-lap race, of course. Top 2 finishers advance on from that. But Murray, you were talking about Isaac Nichols right there and how impressed you are with him. How about that 9th to 1st? Well, he's going to be starting 2nd in the feature. Do you think he might have a good shot at winning here tonight?
Of all the cars we've seen on track, that was the nicest drive that I've seen so far, and I think he only led the 1 lap, but still quite impressive. So, yeah, be on the lookout for this number 6 team and moving forward.
And he's going to have a good shot at it. Going to be starting alongside Bryce Egan on the front row. How about that front row? Bryce Egan and Isaac Nichols for this Mello Yello SmoothFest. Hey, last year, Bruno Diacomo won this race. We'll get to him here in a moment. And didn't really have the best of seasons going forward, but you know, you never know who's going to win this thing. We're still very early on in the season, and we're still just getting early on in the night as well. That's heat number 2. Let's move on to heat number 3. Introduce 9 more drivers full-time in the Wawa Cup Series for 2025. And we are now halfway through the heats, but still 18 more drivers left to introduce here for the 2025 Wawa Cup Series season. How about one of the best drivers in the Wawa Cup Series all time? As a matter of fact, of all the drivers who have been in every single Wawa Cup Series event, Nicholas Samadio has the best average finishing position of all of them. Thank you, Stuart, for that information and that wonderful spreadsheet that you made with all that info. You put in a lot of work to that, and I greatly appreciate it. But Nicholas Samadio, 3rd in the points last season in the Wawa Cup Series, did finally get his first career win in the Wawa Cup Series at North Wilkesboro. He starts on the pole position here tonight, but Stuart, you've got your championship driver. Now, a lot of buzz around Drew Webb, 2023 champion, joining Grattan Autosport, replacing Matt Tuck there, who retired, joined and made his own team there. How do you think this race is going to play out for Drew Webb in that 18 machine?
Well, hopefully similar kind of way that we saw in heats 1 and 2 for the 51 and the 6, where there's a decent amount of speed. Obviously, we rate Drew very highly. We always have. We thought there's a potential to for him to join the team, and clearly that's how it's played out, and we're very excited to have him. So, looking forward to seeing what he can do this year in the 18.
We'll have to see how it all goes down for him here. He was the pole sitter for this race, or for the first heat last year, as he won the championship in 2023. Not as good of a year for him in 2024, but still going to be starting outside pole. Of course, that has not been a good starting spot so far. Both of the ERR cars have started there, and neither of them advanced on, so we'll see how it ends up shaking out. Nicholas Samadio, of course, starting on the pole position for heat number 3. Winner of this race will start 3rd for the feature event, and it's 3rd, 7th, 11th, 15th, and 19th. It's the top 5, and how they'll start for the feature event. I'm doing it without any help from my little note sheet here. Just going off the top of my head. That's how I do most of it. Nicholas Samadio and Drew Webb on the front row right there. A lot of prestige between those 2 drivers. And how about this one? This is a driver I think a lot of people have on their radar going into the season. Daniel Paulus Jr. joining the newly formed team Velocistar here in the Wawa Cup Series. Another Grattan-affiliated team. One of 3 Grattan-affiliated teams. Paulus won in Atlanta last year, made the chase with Trackhouse Racing, and I know he's been talking to you guys, Stuart, so this is going to be a very fun combination to watch this season, and that paint scheme, we'll get a good look of it in just a moment, but one of the best paint schemes in the series. Logan Williams, kind of the second hand there to Appalachian Motorsports there, and of course teammate to Nicholas Samadio of Caleb Rose's team. Multiple wins in the Wawa Cup Series, more than Nicholas Samadio. I know he would love to make the chase for the first time in his career this season. Laura Chung making the move over to Rut Racing this season. She is another driver to watch out for as the season rolls along. I think a lot of potential out of Laura Chung. She had some good runs there with Dracoan last year. She starts 5th alongside the defending winner of this Mello Yello SmoothFest in Bruno Diacomo, driving for Trackhouse Racing and the number 24. How about Zachary Fitzwater, the Iron Man of the Wawa Cup Series and the Cup Series in general? Hairgel gave us that very good spreadsheet as well, and he has been in every points-paying Cup race on the channel. Every single one. I think it's 363 consecutive starts, if I'm not mistaken, next Friday night, if I'm not mistaken, somewhere around that, but he's got more than anybody. And then we got a driver who's made a couple as a hot seat driver in Duncan Ward. And this is another driver a lot of folks have their eye on, especially Eddie Debs, our good friend Eddie Debs, who was in the booth with us last week for the Pro Series race. Duncan Ward driving for Team Williams there, where Zachary Fitzwater also moving over to Titan Fury, replacing Drew Webb at Titan Fury Racing this season. And then the other Parker Davis Enterprises driver of Nathan Smith. Great to have Nathan back. He was in the NR2003 Cup Series Season 10. That didn't finish all the way through, but he's back. Ready to get some vengeance from that, and teammate there to Isaac Nichols. I think he's going to have a good season. Go ahead and get these guys to roll off here for heat number 3. And we'll get these drivers to roll off here. And Murray, I'm going to ask you here, who do you think is getting the job done here in heat number 3 of the Mello Yello SmoothFest?
Well, we've seen a lot of drives up through the field tonight, and I think I'm going to stick with that theme. Let's see how our Mr. Duncan Ward does in that number 23 car.
I know Eddie isn't too keen on Duncan Ward this season, but I think this is a driver and team to watch out for as the season goes along. We got a lot of drivers and teams to watch out for as the season goes along, including Mr. Edge himself, Nicholas Amadio, who is going to lead us off to the green flag here in heat number 3 of the Mello Yello SmoothFest, alongside the 2023 champion of Drew Webb. Here we go. Let's see who makes it into the feature this time around. Very good jump out of Sam Medeo. First time we've seen the leader, pole sitter, not get anyone alongside him at the start. Drew Webb slots in the second. Daniel Paulus Jr., Laura Chung, and Logan Williams. That's the top 5 right now. And Nicholas Sam Medeo leads lap number 1 of heat number 3.
Bruce Lai up the racetrack there. Got Paulus to the inside. That was the first time we saw the outside pole sitter be able to get to the inside, to get clear of the cars behind. But is now under attack here from both Paulus has got around, and now Chung as Fitzwater to the inside of the number 95. You've got to remember as well with Sam Medeo is now Duncan Ward, Nathan Smith trying to move their way forward. Then you got to remember with Sam Medeo, he's run pretty well here in the past as well in this race, the SmoothFest, so, and the heats as well. I think he won a heat back in 2023, so something to keep in mind. Hey, Laura Chung in the 20. We saw De Oliveira do a pretty good job in that last heat. Finished second in that one, and she's pretty racy to the inside of Paulus, and you've got Drew back in here as well, the 18 doing a good job at the moment, just keeping that top 5 position, and there is Duncan preparing to dunk on the top 4.
Preparing to get dunked on. If he makes it into the feature, he's a dark horse pick of mine to win the feature. It's just kind of what I'm feeling here tonight, but he's got to make it on. Paulus is now in 4th in the 54 machine. Here comes Nathan Smith. His teammate Isaac Nichols went from last to first there in heat number 2. He's looking to do the same, but this is the first time we have seen a driver just go out and dominate. Nicholas Samedeo is absolutely ready to be in that feature event. Here comes Drew Webb as well to the inside of Laura Chung, and how fitting is it? 2 of the best drivers ever to grace the Wawa Cup Series. 1-2 here in heat number 3. Daniel Paulus Jr. trying to join those guys. And this has been an opportunity waiting for Daniel Paulus Jr. for over 2 years. He has not necessarily been with the best teams in the Wawa Cup Series up to this point. What an opportunity to join the Grattan Racing Technologies Alliance, and he's going to go to the inside for second on Drew Webb. Here comes Nathan Smith as well. And Duncan Ward looking to strike in case one of these guys slips up for that last transfer spot. Paulus moving Webb up the racetrack. He's up to second as Sam Medeo's a second ahead right now here on lap 9.
Sam Medeo's starting to make me rethink my pick here. Just second on back are so wadded up, it seems like nobody's going to be able to catch him. But hey, how about this 06 as we see Duncan Ward on the outside? Who's that to the inside of him? But
that's Laura Chung.
06, Laura Chung having a great run. This 06 though of Nathan Smith up from dead last, going to make a move for second here in the turn number 1. So both of these team cars doing incredibly well here tonight.
And now Drew Webb is on the chopping block here on the bubble. Zachary Fitzwater looking to get around Duncan Ward there. Of course, these guys will be in LCQ2 if they fail to make it on. Logan Williams just doesn't have the speed in the car tonight. And the defending SmoothFest winner of Bruno Diacomo also struggling, but he's to the inside of Fitzwater. They're 3 wide. 3 wide down the backstretch for just a moment right there. And Diacomo wants a chance to defend his SmoothFest title. I think Sam Medeo's got this one in the bag. You got Nathan Smith, Laura Chung there. They're going to go swap positions for second. Daniel Paulus Jr. and Drew Webb holding on to the last spot. Coming to 2 laps to go here in heat number 3.
This is the thing about New Smyrna. Once you get clear of the chasing pack, you keep it nice and consistent, and that's what Samadeo does very, very well. You're able to pull away, and he's under no pressure whatsoever. He's got it in the bag. Good to see Paulus and Smith doing a good job, and Drew, of course, currently in the top 5. We'll see if he can hold it as Diacomo's on the charge here late.
Bruno Diacomo looking to take this away here on the last lap. Nicholas Samadeo takes the white flag in heat number 3. Looks like Laura Chung might finish second. Paulus and Smith might swap positions there, and here we go. Will Diacomo have a chance to get around Drew Webb? It's going to be close, but it's not going to be enough. Drew Webb is in the feature event of the Mello Yello SmoothFest. Diacomo will start first in LCQ number 2, but this guy, 1.73 seconds. And he's going to be starting third in the feature event. Watch out for Nicholas Samadeo here tonight in the Mello Yello SmoothFest, looking for win number 31. Well, we keep on talking about the all-time wins list. Samadeo's at 30, Fitzwater's at 29, Blaine Keys is at 28. We keep on talking how Blaine Keys might be the driver to surpass Samadeo at the end of the year. Nicholas does not want that to happen, and that is the best way to ensure that it does not happen. All right, Murray. How about that one? Nicholas Samadeo is a guy to watch out for here in this feature event. Laura Chung, Nathan Smith, Daniel Paulos Jr., and Drew Webb advance on to the feature. Diacomo, Fitzwater, Williams, and Duncan Ward will be in the LCQ number 2.
Yeah, I want to apologize to my boy Duncan. That was it was a good run. Just maybe wasn't so lucky there toward the end, getting shuffled back. But no, despite the battle for the lead not being there the whole time, that was one of the more aggressive heats so far, I'd say. Second through about 6 was just a scrap. Every single lap it looked like. So hopefully we keep seeing more racing like that. It was constantly side by side. It was very entertaining.
It definitely was, and Nicholas Samadeo keeping us on the edge of our seats as always, though he made that one look very easy. And I think he also, like you said, Stuart, won a heat 2 years ago as well, and he is going to be starting third in the feature event, which is a great place to start. But Laura Chung, Nathan Smith, Daniel Paulos Jr., Drew Webb, they are all in it. They're all ready to go. Diacomo, Fitzwater, Logan Williams, Duncan Ward, they're going to have to go to the LCQ. Going to be fascinating to see what those drivers end up doing in LCQ number 2. All right, one more heat to go. Heat number 4, the last 9 drivers who will be full-time here in the Wawa Cup Series in 2025. Let's get to it here from New Smyrna Speedway. And here we go. We've got ourselves the last heat of this Mello Yello SmoothFest. And Murray, I know you're a big IndyCar guy. You're always in the booth for the Indy 250 with us. And the champion of the Haas IndyCar Series last year was the guy who is starting on the pole position here for heat number 4. That is Thomas Troxel. I'm going to ask you, Murray, do you think that experience is going to play into effect? He's finally got a big championship. Do you think that's going to help him out in this race and in this Wawa Cup Series season?
It might help out with his momentum and with his feeling up on himself, but it's a completely different discipline, and nothing's guaranteed. But I'm certainly pulling for him. I certainly think he'll do a good job starting up front. You just got these 2 extremely different forms of racing, and I don't know how much an the IndyCar championship is going to translate to getting the job done here tonight, other than maybe that confidence boost.
Mm-hmm. We should have an IndyCar race here at some point. I got to talk to Caleb about that. Anyways, Thomas Troxel is the gentleman we are talking about right there. And, of course, kind of fell off near the end of the chase last year, but he still managed to get a good points finish. I believe he finished 5th in the championship. I think Matt did finish 4th in the title last year, and Troxel finished 5th. Correct me if I'm wrong on that one, Stuart. You probably know that one. But the other driver at Pacific Racing, and I say he's now the other driver because Blaine Keys is coming in to that team, and Troxel has been with Pacific Racing since 2023. New sponsor, nice scheme here on this 62 machine. Don't worry, you will see the Hulu scheme back with Haley Anderson Jr. in the Uncharted ride once we get started with that next week. But Thomas Troxel, Rogaldorn, 2 very good drivers in the series. Rogaldorn won 3 times last year, won the Coke 600 as well. I know he is very much looking forward to this season, returning to Hamill Racing Enterprises. You got Matthew Hubert, had a great season last year, was the best of the rest, best driver in the points that missed the chase, though he did not get a race victory. And he is going to definitely have a great opportunity at changing that this year, joining Team Velocitar and the Grattan Racing Technologies Alliance. watch out for Matthew Hubert as the season goes along. How about our defending Daytona 500 champion of LJ Cimento, has been with Titan Fury since 2023. He is back in the 71. Great to see him back, and we'll see what he does. I got your Cohen Racing Enterprises, last team that we have seen here tonight. New numbers for these teams, or for these cars, I should say, though it is the same schemes and very much the same team, except Justin Zeidel's now driving the other car there in the number 3 machine. Roberto Crown Jr. returns to the team, driving the number 81. Still looking for their first career win on the channel. I believe they were runner-up last year in the Mello Yello SmoothFest. You got Brad Stover in the 78, teammate to Andrew Miller at Durrani Racing. And a couple of rookies right here to the Wawa Cup Series. How about Leonard Kochmer? This was, I know you wanted to get him, Stuart. I know you guys were looking at Leonard during that Truck Series season. Finished runner-up in the Truck Series points without a race victory. He's going to be essentially replacing Blaine Keys there in the 41 machine there at Racing Motorsports this season. Watch out for Leonard as the season goes along. He is definitely one of the hottest rookies coming into the season. Alex Amintali in the 61 machine, his first run in the Wawa Cup Series. Excited to see what he can pull off there with Andrews Racing and the 61. All right, let's go ahead and get these drivers to roll off here for the last heat. Heat number 4 here from the new Smyrna Speedway. Stuart, it's your turn to pick here. Who's getting it done here at heat number 4 with the Mello Yello SmoothFest?
I'm not going to say he's going to win, but I think Matthew Hubert will make it in, given that our other 5 cars have all made it in. But I'm going to go maybe a bit of a surprise pick. Brad Stover in the 78. Durrani, I think that they had a good run with the 86 before, and Brad's a good driver. He was in poor equipment last year, but I think he's got a good opportunity to make it in. Good starting position on the inside.
You want to start on the inside lane, which is a bit of a disadvantage for these guys, because all these guys who advance on here will start on the outside lane. And it'll be positions for 4, 9, 13, 7. No, I don't have it right. Well, you guys know the idea. Here we go. Heat number 4 underway. Great start for Troxel. Here comes Matthew Hubert on the inside of Rogeldorm. And there's your pick, Stuart. Brad Stover trying to go 3 wide there on Zeidel. LJ Cimento. We do have 3 wide in the back there with Sam Vitale and Kochmer. But a clean start for Thomas Troxel, who leads lap number 1 here at heat number 4.
Start for the 62 and the 15 there. You can see Brad moving his way forward in the 78. Justin as well in the 3. You obviously want to be on that inside lane early on. As you can see, Rogel and LJ kind of struggling at the moment, unable to get to the bottom. And here goes Matthew to the inside for the lead. Hey, this is what we want. This is what I want to see. The Velocity car's going really well. Hopefully we get 6 from 6 in this main event.
Transfer spot right there. Sam Vitale in the 61 to the inside of Brad Stover. Kochmer trying to make his way in. Not a good start for either Rogeldorn or LJ Cimento, excuse me. They're falling back from their outside lane starting positions. That outside lane has not been the place to be all night in these heat races so far. And it seems like all those guys starting up front on the outside lane have missed the show. We're gonna have some 3 wide here. Leonard Kochmer to the inside of Sam Vitale and Crown Jr. Not enough momentum. These cars are a little bit wider than the Gen 6 cars we've been seeing on track as of late, so these guys have not been going as aggressive with the 3 wide so far tonight. Just wait until we get 24 cars on the track with these Cup cars. It's going to be fun. But how about Matthew Hubert? Almost got a race win multiple times last year. Couldn't quite do it. I know he had a great run at Chicagoland last year, but this is a driver who I know you guys are very, very high on there in the Grattan Industries at Team Velocitar. And I know he's going to have a good shot. But how about Justin Zeidel? Moving up to the 2nd position there for Cohen Racing Enterprises. Reminder, this is the team that won the SmoothFest with Blaine Keys 2 years ago. And Justin's getting in the Troxel into the corner there.
I was just going to comment on Justin as well, having a good run up from... Well, where did he start? He started in one of the back couple of rows, but here we got it. Got the crossback, the switchback from Thomas Troxel here up the inside. And just like last heat, the 15 of Matthew Hubert is just pulling away with all this battling going on back here. So I wonder if we'll see that in the main event. You really want to be up front and up front early. And I'm definitely worried for the winner of this heat and the winner of heat number 2, because like you said, we've seen the outside front row, the outside lane just completely tank at the start of these races. So
we have seen a different heat each time, though, in terms of who's been able to win these races. And we saw Isaac Nichols go from 9th to 1st in heat number 2. He'll be starting on the outside pole. Matthew Hubert started 3rd for this one. Sam Video's the only pole sitter to win a heat race so far here tonight. Justin still going at it with Thomas Troxel. He's up to 2nd. Leonard Kochmer is in 4th. And the last transfer spot going to Roberto Crown Jr. at the moment. LJ Cimento trying to close in on it here. Brad Stover is also in the mix, and they've only got a couple more laps to go before this heat is done. Oh no, does Justin have a problem in the 3 machine? He went way wide into the corner. Now is not the time to have a problem. Looks like he regained it back up. I'm not entirely sure what happened to him right there. Brad Stover trying to close in on Roberto Crown Jr. And it's 2 laps to go for Matthew Hubert here in heat number 4.
This is exactly what I wanted to see from Matthew. He's doing a great job. Looks like Roberto's in a good position in the 81. He's in that last, they're in that last transfer. They're battling behind with the 78 and the 71. Got to drive it nice and smooth now for another lap.
White flag for Matthew Hubert. He's got a near 2nd lead on Thomas Troxel at the moment. Justin Zeidel is comfortably in. Leonard Kochmer is comfortably in. And it looks like Roberto Crown Jr. is also comfortably in. Matthew Hubert wins heat number 4. Troxel, Zeidel, Kochmer, and Crown Jr. advance on. No drama there at the end of that one. Brad Stover will start outside lane in LCQ number 2. LJ Cimento, Rogaldorn, Alex Sanvitali. That is the finishing order here in heat 4. Good run there for Matthew Hubert. Not quite the advantage that Sam Medeo had in heat number 3, but another driver to watch out for in the feature event, I do believe, if he is going to have a shot. Get him up front, he's going to pull away. Thomas Troxel, great run for him, he's in the feature. Same with Justin. Leonard Kochmer's in, Roberto Crown Jr. as well. Both of the Dracoan cars advanced on. Great job for Owen Miles' team right there. But Brad Stover, LJ Cimento, Rogaldorn, and Alex Sanvitali, they're going to have to go to the LCQ. Well, we know we're 20 drivers now, and we still got 4 more spots to go with here in these LCQ races. So, Murray, what do these drivers need to do? You got to finish top 2 in the LCQ to advance on. How desperate are these drivers going to be here to make it onto the feature event here tonight in the Mello Yello SmoothFest?
Oh, you're going to be one to hog that bottom lane as much as possible and hope for the best, I think. If I'm starting on the outside, that is my number 1 goal in these LCQ races. So we'll have to see how it goes.
It's going to be a lot of fun to see who gets it done here in New Smyrna, Florida. Excited to see it for the LCQs because those are always some wild races. They're twice as long as well, both 30 laps in length, so there's more time for things to go wrong as well. But we got our 20 drivers in. There's still 16 drivers left going for 4 more spots. Let's get to LCQ number 1 here from the New Smyrna Speedway. And here we go for LCQ number 1. And it's do or die right here for these drivers, because if you don't make it on from here, you will not be in the feature event. But of course, we'll be back racing next Friday night from the Auto Club Speedway in the Napa 400. But hey, all these guys want to be in it, and we got ourselves some very strong drivers here in LCQ number 1. Murray, I asked you just before we took the break there, but I'm going to ask you again. If you're a guy like Jack Haas or Kirsten Bell, one of these drivers who made the chase last year, even Trey Bartow, what do you need to do to advance on in this first LCQ to make it into the feature event?
You might have to do some pushing and shoving to get your way by if it comes to it. And I'm definitely looking to be on that inside lane, regardless of who's there. I'm clearing myself. You know what I mean? So that's how it's been all night. I definitely feel for these guys starting on the outside, especially at the beginning, because it seems like that inside just has such an advantage, especially early on.
Well, the good news is these drivers do have 15 more laps to be able to get back on the inside, and there's 1 fewer car in the field as well. Only 8 drivers, but only the top 2 advance on to the feature event in these LCQ races. But we got 30 laps to determine it here, and at the end of those 30 laps, we will set positions 21 and 23 for the starting lineup in the Mello Yello SmoothFest feature. Angel Gutierrez with the pole here in LCQ number 1, alongside Philip Torres in the number 52. We got ourselves Jack Haas in the 39 machine, and then Trey Bartow in the 4. That's an interesting row right there. Those two guys banter quite a bit in the chat. We love it. Jesse Turner trying to make it on here to this Mello Yello SmoothFest feature alongside Kirsten Bell, Christian Master, and Avery Alford round out the final row here in this LCQ. We got both of the ERR drivers in this race, both of the Hair Gel drivers in this race, both of the Team Williams cars are in these LCQs, both of the Hamill cars are in the LCQs, both of the Titan Fury cars are in the LCQs, and both of the Andrews Racing cars are in the LCQs. So it is a very team identifiable format, I guess you can say, with how it all went down in the heats. Certain teams made it on and other teams didn't, but it seems to be the teams versus the drivers that are going after it here in this SmoothFest here tonight. Only 2 more spots remain in this race and then in the second LCQ, so going to be fascinating to see which teams, in fact, make it in. Let's go ahead, get these drivers to roll off here in LCQ number 1. We got some good drivers once again, but only 2 of them make it on. Who's going to make it on here in LCQ number 1?
I know what I've just said about the outside. However, Trey Bartow led some laps in his heat, and I think he just got unlucky with the shuffle and how things played out. So we'll see if he's able to get it done here. At least advance, but I think he's going to win.
We'll have to see what Trey Bartow can do here. Of course, Jack Haas, Kirsten Bell also in this, Angel Gutierrez. As a matter of fact, we got 5 guys who won Wawa Cup Series races last year in this LCQ. Avery Alford also won as well. Here we go, 30 laps for LCQ number 1 in the Mello Yello SmoothFest. And these guys are going to be aggressive trying to make it into the big show. There goes Jack Haas to the inside of Gutierrez for the race lead.
Almost 3 wide back in there with Turner getting on getting aggressive early on. Couldn't quite hang on that inside lane. As Haas gets to the lead. We saw with Sam Adio in Heat 3, he was able to pull away from these guys and everyone was battling for second on back. So we'll see if one of these drivers can do the same kind of thing, but Haas in the lead with Bartow right behind. That's could get spicy if they're battling for the lead later on in this race.
Oh, but, yes. If they get into it, we're going to have a very interesting moment in the Wawa Cup Series chat on the Discord. And Bartow right now has that last transfer spot. Philip Torres trying to get to the inside of Gutierrez. Kirsten Bell still mired in traffic right here. Avery Alford, Christian Master, Jesse Turner not having a good night. Jack Haas, just like you said, Stuart, Nicholas Amidia pulled away in his heat, and that's kind of what happens here. We saw it even in the Pro Series race last Friday night in the feature event of that one. They kept on battling for second, and Blankeys just pulled away. You cannot let these guys pull away here in New Smyrna and get that significant lead, because it's going to be very hard to get back to them unless you get a caution. And we have been clean all night long here at the New Smyrna Speedway. Gutierrez is going to take third away from Philip Torres, but that doesn't mean anything unless it's second place. Kirsten Bell trying to move her way on the inside lane, but can't quite get it at the moment. And it's Jack Haas, Trey Bartow, the 2 drivers looking to advance on at the moment here in LCQ number 1.
As we got the 93 of Bell looking up the inside of the 52 here, coming off of turn 2, she will clear. Good for her. And then we got the 13 of Avery Alford making the same move. So it looks like the 52 is slipping back just a bit. You know, that's not what you want to see, obviously. You want to be in the top 2. But about that number 4, we saw Bartow almost clear himself off the front bumper of that 52, and he's coming coming up to this 39, and here he goes for the lead into turn number 1.
And Trey Bartow, I know he's very excited for this season, especially with his sponsor. Like I said, we won't talk about his sponsor. Hey, if you know, you know. If you're from Pennsylvania, you know. Jack Haas getting put on the outside lane right there, but he will remain there in the second position. Here comes Kirsten Bell. Philip Torres pushing up on Alford back in there. Christian Master in the 69 machine also trying to get to the inside as well. Nothing going for him there, and Jack Haas is back to the inside of Trey Bartow. And I know Jack would love to put Bartow on the outside lane and have Kirsten Bell take that last spot away. Jack's going to slide it up on Bartow. Going through the corner, and the 39 looking really strong here in this LCQ.
You got Kirsten right behind as well, so the Evans Ross cars, here we go again. Bartow back to the inside as Haas slipped up the racetrack. There have been a few times tonight where cars have slipped up the racetrack. They've struggled to hold that bottom, also in 3 and 4, but sometimes in 1 and 2 as well. And here we go, final transfer between the teammates. I think with the Evans Ross cars, they were, and you could probably say the same with Trey, they got unlucky with the shuffle. They were stuck on the outside early on, and Trey, he fell back later on in the run. But as you can see, it's pretty close now. Gutierrez has closed in as well. It's a four-way fight at the moment. And you've got Master back in there in the 69. He's just got around Alfred as well. Keep an eye on him.
Christian Master, a long time veteran of the channel, and for the lead, Kirsten Bell taking it away from Trey Bartow, and Angel Gutierrez has found his way back on the inside lane. He's trying to find his way back in the transfer spot. This could get tight between Jack Haas and Trey Bartow. Will they remain three wide into the corner? They will not, but it is very tight racing up front here in New Smyrna Speedway. And now you got Alfred, all these guys under a blanket here halfway through LCQ1, and Gutierrez trying to take that last transfer spot away. Christian Master trying to move his way through the field and slip his way into the feature event.
That's a tough break for Haas, going from first to, fifth. In the span of just a few laps after that whole debacle, as we got to move from the 36 to Gutierrez for the race lead on the 93. And who's there in third? Yeah, and that was a crazy 250, so we'll see if they can add this to their resume. This 69 machine is making their way through the field too. I was surprised because they were in the back and it looked like they were kind of mired back in traffic there.
Oh boy!
Oh man, that was a close one.
We saw that in the very first lap of the night with Ludovic Charette, but like I said, we have not seen one wreck all night from these guys. Just waiting till they get all 24 guys. We had 4 cautions in the feature event last year. I'm hoping we don't quite have that this year. But who knows? These guys, they're ready to go for it. It's been a long offseason for these guys in the Wawa Cup Series, and they are ready to get the 2025 season started. Jack Haas going to try to get back on his teammate for this last transfer spot as Gutierrez is still leading. Kirsten Bell would like to take that lead away and have a cushion between her and her teammate. Trey Bartow around Master there for 4th. Philip Torres, Avery Alfred still waiting in the wings as well. Gutierrez trying to win this LCQ here tonight at the New Smyrna Speedway. You got Trey Bartow trying to get on Jack Haas here, but that's not for a transfer spot, almost getting into each other. Bartow wants to be the one to possibly get a spot as Kirsten Bell to the inside of Gutierrez for the race lead. 9 laps to go here in LCQ1.
Bell applying the that's really big contact between Bartow and Haas. That's just going to allow the guys in front to get away, and now Master to the inside as well. Bell to the inside, trying to get the lead away from Gutierrez. Gutierrez, you might just have to relinquish that position very quickly, get back to the bottom before Bartow gets there. Bartow looking very aggressive at the moment in that fourth, trying to make his way into the main event. So if you're Gutierrez, it looks like he's going to slot back in behind before Bartow can get there.
Kirsten Bell looking to be in a very good position right now. Jack Haas is not looking to be in a good position right now, and you can tell by how far he's off. I don't think he's going to have enough time to make his way into the show. Bartow, though, still has an opportunity, and Master does as well if things tangle up front. Gutierrez is going to still try to win this race. It's going to be a shame that only 2 of these guys can make it on, because I think these top 3 drivers are all fast enough to be in this feature event, but only 2 spots remain. It's 5 laps to go here in LCQ1 for Kirsten Bell. Angel Gutierrez trying to get to the inside and get that cushion back. He's got a nose, and he's going to try to take it back away with 5 to go. Not enough of a run on the inside lane.
Yeah, but Gutierrez is just hounding the back bumper of Bell right now, and Bartow is just looking for that right time to pounce. I mean, if you get these 2 leaders battling like they have been all race, you never know. As we see Bell trying to make up another spot here late with just 4 coming on to 3 laps to go here. But it's not over yet. We'll have to see if Bell can hang on here, because Gutierrez is hungry.
Gutierrez is still in a transfer spot, so how aggressive are you going to be to get the win? That is the big question. You don't want Bartow to get to the inside. Only 2 laps remain here in LCQ1. Oh, he's going to have a shot here. Kirsten Bell overrode the corner, and here comes Gutierrez looking to take the lead here in LCQ1. Looking to advance his way on. It's the white flag here in LCQ number 1 for Angel Gutierrez. Trey Bartow's going to have a chance. Gutierrez trying to slip up there on the 93. He's got the race lead. Trey Bartow is a little too far behind. Somebody blew up. That's Avery Alford. And Kirsten Bell to the inside. Not enough Gutierrez wins LCQ1, and Kirsten Bell will advance on to the feature event as well. And Trey Bartow will unfortunately not be in the Mello Yello SmoothFest here tonight for the feature event.
Oh, that was fun. Good race by all those guys. Very, very competitive. Well done to Gutierrez. That's a very good drive from the 36 to get around Bell. Of course, still early on in the season, but still a very good performance. Bartow, the thing with Bartow, he had the shot, but he overdrove turns 1 and 2 and couldn't get to the inside of the 93 in time. So I think he'd probably like to take those 2 turns back, but it'll be Gutierrez and Bell in the main event. And these are 2 cars that probably could compete with with the guys up front. So we'll see how that goes.
It's going to be very interesting to see how it ends up shaking out with a driver like Kirsten Bell starting in the back, because we know how good of a driver she is. Of course, not to knock Gutierrez as well. He drove a very good race here in that Millennium Motorsports machine to get this LCQ win, and he's a guy, he fell back and then came back and got Kirsten Bell, got Trey Bartow, got Jack Haas all in a row right there. So good long-run car, 75-lap feature. That's going to really help him out in that one. So Gutierrez and Kirsten Bell advance on to the feature event. And no SmoothFest for Trey Bartow, Jack Haas, Christian Master, Philip Torres, Jesse Turner, or Avery Alford this year, but they'll be back next week at the Auto Club Speedway. 1 more LCQ to go, 2 more spots to hand out. Let's see who it is here from the new Smyrna Speedway and the Mello Yello SmoothFest. And now it's time. Only 2 spots remain in the feature event. And only 2 more drivers are going to get those 2 more spots here in LCQ number 2. And one of the drivers in this race is Bruno Diacomo, who won the Mello Yello SmoothFest last year, driving for the now defunct Trinity River Racing. He brings Mac Tools over to Trackhouse Racing, and he is excited to be a part of this team. And it's another alliance we have not really talked about yet, Stuart, and I know I don't know how you feel about it, but the United Alliance, Airgel Motorsports, Trackhouse Racing, and Racing Motorsports all working together with their drivers. Not sure how it's working out, but Bruno Diacomo is a part of that. He wants to be back in the feature event to defend a SmoothFest win. What does he need to do to get it done here in LCQ number 2?
Well, it depends on how they started off. We've seen Sam Adio obviously dominated from the pole in his heat. So if the guys behind really go, play for sheep stations for second place, that's a really good opportunity for Diacomo to just keep the car straight and keep it going, maximize time and pull away from everybody. But if he gets off to a poor start and, everyone catches up to him, gets around him, and he's just got to, work that little bit harder to get past those other cars and up into the top 2. But this is a very interesting heat, or LCQ. I'm looking forward to it.
It will be a lot of fun. We had a great one in LCQ number 1, and I think we're in store for another great one here. We'll have to see how it all goes down. Bruno Diacomo on the pole position here for LCQ number 1, alongside Brad Stover in the 78 machine. Zachary Fitzwater. How about both of the Titan Fury cars in this LCQ here? I know that Igor wanted a little bit of a better run than that to open up the season with his new driver there at Fitzwater, but Fitzy still got a shot there alongside LJ Semedo. Logan Williams, that's the big surprise. His teammate pulled out to a near 2-second lead in his heat, and Logan finished near dead last in his, and that's always been the story there at Appalachian Motorsports. We'll see what Logan Williams can do alongside Rogel Dorn in the 74 there for Hamill Racing Enterprises. Then you got Duncan Ward and Alex Sanvitali. A couple of the rookies there did not have good runs in their respective heats, but they can bring it all back up to the front here in this LCQ. Let's go ahead and get it started here for LCQ number 2. And Stuart, I'll ask you who's making it on here in LCQ number 2 at the Mello Yello SmoothFest.
This is pretty tough. I mean, you got a lot of good drivers in this one. Obviously, I have to go with Rogel in the 74. I mean, he's one of the best drivers in the series. Even though he's starting on the outside, I think he's still going to be in a good position to advance on. Second driver, I'm not really sure. I will go with Logan Williams, but I wasn't particularly impressed by that first race he was in. He was a lot further off Sam Adio than he would have hoped.
We'll see what they can do. Only 8 drivers, 30 laps. It's plenty of time to work your way from the back to the front. Bruno Diacomo does not need to do that, though. He wants to lead every lap in this LCQ and defend his SmoothFest title. We're underway. Oh, that's not a good way to start, but he almost got into him, and Rogaldorn just tapped the outside wall in the 74 machine. Major issue on the 74 for the lead. Giacomo holds on to it. Fitzwater in the second position at the moment. Logan Williams moving his way in that inside lane to the inside of Stover and Duncan Ward right there. But Bruno Giacomo able to get out of it all right, and he is leading here on lap number 2.
It's a matter now for Giacomo of whether he could pull away from the cars behind with Williams to the inside of Fitzwater for second, that last transfer spot. And can Giacomo pull away from these guys and get the win? I'm not sure what happened with Dawn there off the start. He got into the outside wall and ricocheted into San Vitale, but San Vitale looks all right in the 61. Still competing thereabouts. We've got Duncan Ward now to the inside of Fitzwater for third in that 23. None of the Dodgers, they've got 4 Dodgers in this field. Avery Alford didn't advance on. He had that engine issue. The other 3 Dodgers in this field currently on the outside looking in.
Well, Bruno Giacomo's pulling away in the 24. And the battle's on for the last transfer spot. And Duncan Ward looking to take it away from Logan Williams, trying to get at least one Dodge in the feature event. This is a Dodge that won the Drivers' Championship 2 years ago with Drew Webb. We'll have to see what they can do this year with Team Williams and Titan Fury Racing. Fitzwater looking to take that second or third spot away, I should say. He's got his teammate LJ Semedo right behind him, pushing his new teammate to the inside right there. And Fitzwater might be going to the inside of Duncan Ward here. 29 career wins on the channel for Fitzwater. He is not the all-time winningest driver anymore, as Sam Adio passed him in November in the Truck Series event at Iowa. But Fitzwater, probably the best opportunity he's had in the Wawa Cup Series here, driving a team that won the championship 2 years ago. Going to be a very interesting combination as the season rolls along. LJ Semedo, though, to the inside. Duncan Ward's really wide off the corner. And here comes LJ looking to take that last transfer spot away.
95 of Logan Williams back to the bottom, which is good to see it for him, because he suffered from getting shuffled back there. Lost a good 3-4 positions on that outside lane, and he'll nearly clear for third. It looks like he'll be clear going into 3.
LJ Semedo trying to pull away from Logan Williams now, do the same thing Giacomo did. He's trying to close in on Giacomo, gained a 10th that lap there as we're a third of the way through LCQ number 2. And Bruno Giacomo has led every lap. His teammate, Bryce Egan, will be starting on the pole for the feature event. He won the first heat. And Giacomo, the other Trackhouse car, did not have as good of a run in his respective heat. And he is losing time to Semedo, who is trying to reel him down here in this second LCQ. You got Logan Williams, Duncan Ward trying to close in. If these two tangle, we had a great battle between all those guys in the first LCQ. We might be shaping up for another one here in LCQ2, but Giacomo's still holding on, but he's losing his lead fast as Semedo closes in the 71.
One thing you saw there off of turn 2, you saw how high the 71 was, and he lost a fair chunk of time as Fitzwater all over the back of Duncan Ward. But you see Semedo again on very, very high. Williams was able to get a little bit lower. There's a little bit of contact there between the two of them. Williams was able to do a nice job to keep it off the 71, but you want to be able to get to the bottom as much as possible. Don't want to be sliding up the racetrack, as we see Semedo do just enough there to allow Logan Williams to the inside for that last transfer.
I know Logan really wants to get the season started off on the right foot. It's definitely been an interesting run for him in the Wawa Cup Series. 3 career wins, including the Southern 500 a couple of years ago. But he has never made the chase before, and his teammate has had a lot more success in terms of consistency here in this series. And I know Logan would love to make it into the SmoothFest and have an opportunity at getting the first win of the season, even though it's a non-points event. Still a big deal to win this race. You get those bragging rights to open up the season. LJ Semedo back to the inside of Logan, though, for that last transfer spot as we're halfway through LCQ2.
As they're still side-by-side down that front straightaway. Semedo trying to keep it pinned down on the bottom, but as you said, I don't see that 71 hooking it around the very, very bottom. It seems like they continue to wash up a bit as I say that, though. That was a pretty clean corner, so move Semedo up a spot into second place, and the 24 of Bruno Giacomo just continuing to pull away here, so having a good run. Relatively calm
back around to the inside of Semedo, and don't look now, here comes Duncan Ward in the 23. Looking to close in on these drivers. We have had some great racing here tonight, but you got to give these guys so much credit. They have not wrecked, caused an accident, caused a caution once yet in this event here tonight. And we definitely have had our moments throughout the week here at New Smyrna Speedway with the Pro Series and the Light Series and all of that. We've still got the 75-lap feature just around the corner here in about 10 laps time. And then we still got 10 laps in this race, and LJ Semedo once again back to the inside of Logan Williams. And they're closing in on Diacomo, who's overshooting here, and Semedo might have a shot at taking the race lead here in just a couple of laps. He's going to put Logan Williams outside looking in. Diacomo's got to be careful because LJ Semedo is flying fast in that 71 machine.
Yeah, Giacomo can't hook it around the bottom, and that's causing him to lose a lot of time to the guys behind. You know, Semedo and Logan Williams, despite their battling, have been able to close in just fractionally as this race has gone along. So if Giacomo can nail the bottom and not slide up, not wash up the track, particularly with the 95 and 71 going at it again, he'll be in a good position to hold on to this win. But right now, you know, he's still very vulnerable. And also, just quickly, Rogel Dawn, by the way, in 8th, and that damage must have, there must be a lot of damage on that car, really affecting the 74, because this is not what we anticipated.
And we saw that last night in the Light Series race as well, that one incident we did have initially. It didn't seem as if Matt Tuck had a lot of damage from that accident, but he was off the pace and honestly should not have been in comparison to the Light Series drivers. And hello to Duncan Ward, who just took that last transfer spot away from Logan Williams. Those two kept battling and the 23 closed right in, and Duncan Ward looking to get that last transfer spot into the feature event and start 24th here in just a few moments for the feature. Semedo and Williams, they continue the battle, but it's not for a transfer spot now. That's good for Diacomo, who's pulled away here. 4 laps to go in LCQ number 2.
Diacomo was losing his lead, and then with the 71 and the 95 battling, the 23 award getting by, that helped him extend it right back to where it was. So
but here comes
if he
Semedo.
can hang on here, oh yeah, 23 up the racetrack. Semedo back to the final transfer spot, and they'll stay side by side through 1 and 2. But yeah, all this battling has let that 24 start sailing into the sunset here.
And it's looking good for Bruno Diacomo, but who's going to join him in this feature event? LJ Semedo has barely missed out on transferring in both of the Pro Series races that he's been in so far to the feature event of those events. He's pulling away now from Duncan Ward, and he closed in a lot on Diacomo, who overshot the corner right there, and here we go. White flag in LCQ number 2 for Bruno Diacomo. He's led every lap so far here in this last chance qualifier. Will he be able to win this last chance qualifier? Semedo overshot, but Duncan's a bit too far behind to have a chance. Bruno Diacomo is in the feature event along with LJ Semedo, the lone dodge of the feature in this year's Mello Yello SmoothFest.
Yeah, a lot of the battling for position behind for that last transfer, and Diacomo did enough. I mean, he did well in that heat that he participated in. Obviously just missed out, but he got the pole for this one, and wouldn't say he pulled away with the win, but did enough to get his way in. And well done to LJ Semedo, who on raw speed probably was that quickest car, to be honest. Just made probably too many mistakes to get to the 24, but he's in the main event. I'm sure he doesn't really care too much. He'll start from the last position, but he is in.
He finally transferred into something, and he lost out just barely at South Boston and just barely last week here in New Smyrna in the Pro Series 2, the feature events over there. Did not have that issue tonight. He's going to be starting 24th. He barely made it in, but he is in the feature event of the Mello Yello SmoothFest. Unfortunately, Duncan Ward, Logan Williams, Brad Stover, Zachary Fitzwater, Alex Amitali, and Rogel Dorn failed to qualify for the feature event. But here we go. We've got ourselves our starting lineup here for the Mello Yello SmoothFest feature. And it's Bryce Egan and Isaac Nichols starting on the front row. Row number 2 will see Nicholas Samidio and Matthew Hubert. Row 3 sees Andrew Miller and Bernardo de Oliveira. Row 4 sees Lor Shung and the 62 of Thomas Troxel. Row 5 sees Braden Perez and the 97 of Tanner Parton. Row 6 sees Nathan Smith and Justin Zeidel. Row 7 sees Ludovic Charette and the 43 of Brian Webb. Row number 8 sees Daniel Paulus Jr. and Leonard Kochmer. Row 9 sees the 98 of Travis Crampton and the 32 of Blaine Keys. Row 10 sees the 18 of Drew Webb and the 81. That car driven by Roberto Crown Jr. 36 of Angel Gutierrez, 1 LCQ number 1. He's on the inside of row 11 alongside Bruno Diacomo, the winner of LCQ number 2. And then row 12, you got the 93 machine of Kirsten Bell and LJ Sameto in the 71. So the 24 drivers in the main event. All right, Murray, we're looking forward to it. 75 laps, 24 drivers. How's it all going to go down here as we're just about to get ready for the feature event of the Mello Yello SmoothFest?
Well, we've had a relatively clean set of heat races and last chance qualifiers, and I think that's been the calm before the storm. So we'll have to see with all the cars on the racetrack at one time what's going to go down, and I'm excited.
And that's what the case was last year as well. No cautions in any of the heats or LCQs last year, 4 cautions in the feature. I'm hoping we don't have 4 cautions, and I hope we actually finish it under green as well. We're just going to have to find out and see. Let's get to it. The feature event, the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's see who wins the Mello Yello SmoothFest here in 2025. Six races have been run so far this evening, and now it is time for the 7th and final event of the night. It is the feature event of the Mello Yello SmoothFest, the race that is for all the marbles here at the new Smyrna Speedway. And as we mentioned earlier on tonight, even though it's not a points event, it is still a very huge race to win. The bragging rights are huge if you do win here tonight in this Mello Yello SmoothFest. 24 drivers in the field. Only one of them will be the winner, and that's the only position that matters here tonight. So who will it be after 75 laps? We're going to find out here in just a few moments here for the 2025 Mello Yello SmoothFest. And welcome once again to the new Smyrna Speedway. We've had a great night so far, a lot of great racing, and I'm so stoked to have Stuart Gratton and Murray alongside me here for this one here tonight. And Stuart, I'm going to start off with you. You got 6 of the drivers, all 6 of the Gratton affiliated teams and drivers in this feature event here tonight, which is exactly what you wanted to see, I know it. So what these guys need to do to maybe work together and make sure one of the Gratton affiliated drivers goes to victory lane in this Mello Yello SmoothFest.
Well, it's a long race, and 75 laps, 5 times the length of the heats. So it's going to be a bit more of an interesting challenge. The cars are all fast, clearly, given that they've all made the main event. So, again, it's all for fun. It'd be great if we could get the win, work together. But it's not going to be team orders or anything like that. I don't want it to be like that. So we'll let these guys have their fun, race together, hopefully work together to get up to the front if that's if that ends up happening later on in the race. So we'll see what happens. Of course, last year we did have the 4 yellows. Hopefully we don't get that many. I don't want a car flipping over again. That'd be nice. But we'll see how this race plays out. Should be New Smyrna has always been a great racetrack. So looking forward to this.
And Murray, there are 18 other drivers in this field that do not want to see a Gratton affiliated driver win here tonight. So what do those 18 other drivers need to do to make sure they don't go to victory lane in this first race of the season?
Well, I would say don't get mired up in traffic and save your stuff. We've only done short races. The longest have been 30 laps. The most of the drivers up front haven't done a long run. So Bryce Egan could go out there, lead the first 15 laps, and then start to fade. So I think part of it's going to be about saving your stuff and trying to stay up front. So maintaining track position while simultaneously, being able to make it to the end.
And we'll have to see who saves their stuff up for the end and has the fastest car at the end of this race. And who knows, will we see cautions in this event? Will we see a restart? That will shake things up entirely if we end up with that. That came into effect in the Light Series races last week and yesterday as well. and could very well determine who gets the race victory here tonight in the Mello Yello SmoothFest. But we do know we got 24 drivers in the field. Go ahead and show all these drivers to you here tonight. We got Bryce Egan in the number 9, starting on the pole position alongside him. It's Isaac Nichols in the number 6 for Parker Davis Enterprises. Nicholas Samadillo, winner of heat number 3 for Appalachian Motorsports, and Matthew Hubert, winner of heat number 4 for Team Velocistar. Bernardo de Oliveira on the outside of row 3 for Rutt Racing alongside Andrew Miller and Durrani Racing. Thomas Troxel for Pacific Racing, Laura Chung for Rutt Racing, Tanner Pardon for NS Racing, Braden Perez for Millennium Motorsports, Nathan Smith for Parker Davis Enterprises, Justin Zeidel for Dracoan Racing. We got Ludovic Charette, the defending Wawa Cup Series champion, and Brian Webb there in the 43 for Racing Motorsports. Daniel Paulus Jr. for Team Velocistar. Leonard Kochmer, the rookie for Racing Motorsports. Travis Crampton for NS Racing. Blaine Keys for Pacific Racing. Roberto Crown Jr. for Dracoan Racing Enterprises. Drew Webb for Grattan Autosport. Bruno Diacomo, winner of LCQ number 2 for Titan Fury, or should I say Trackhouse Racing, excuse me. Angel Gutierrez for Millennium Motorsports. Got Kirsten Bell for Evans Ross Racing in the 93, and then for Titan Fury Racing, LJ Semedo in the number 71. Those are the 24 drivers looking to win the first official event of the 2025 Wawa Cup Series season. Let's see who gets it done here in the Mello Yello SmoothFest. All right, we're going to get these guys to roll off here. Stewart and then Murray. Who's getting the job done here in the 2025 Mello Yello SmoothFest?
I've got to make mine nice and quick. I'm going to go Nicholas Samadillo in the 59, who's probably the fastest driver in all the heats. Start from 3rd.
Man, I was going to pick him as well, but let's go with the number 86 of Andrew Miller, see if he can back up all that talk.
We'll have to see if he can do it. Well, thank you guys so much for such a great night here from the new Smyrna Speedway. We're just getting started with the 2025 season, guys, and I know you guys are so excited for it. I'm excited for it. We're all excited for it. So let's get it started. The Mello Yello SmoothFest is green from new Smyrna Speedway. And Bryce Egan is going to lead lap number 1 of the feature event here at New Smyrna. Nicholas Samadillo looking to take 2nd away from Isaac Nichols, Andrew Miller, Laura Chung, Braden Perez on the inside lane as well. That's a good start for Bryce Egan, but it's a long race here tonight in this feature event. 75 laps. The Nicholas Samadillo up to 2nd place here for Appalachian Motorsports.
Isaac tried to cut down on Andrew Miller there. That was very, very close between those two, but they kept it straight. Egan overdrove turn 2 there. That lost him a bit of time compared to Samadillo. He's now all over the back of that number 9. They're hoping to try and find a way around and try and take this race lead, but the top 5, all single file, it's crazy behind. 6th on back is a mess at the moment.
And for the lead, Nicholas Samadillo taking it away there from Bryce Egan. A great run for the 59 machine. And he's a guy you do not want taking this race lead either. He could easily pull away and dominate, not like Blaine Keys did 2 years ago in this feature event. Andrew Miller up to 3rd. Laura Chung to the inside of Isaac Nichols. We have not seen a lot of guys move their way through the field in this one yet. And you got Blaine Keys all the way in the back of the field as well. It has not been a good run for him here tonight. Didn't really have a good run in his heat race, and he has slipped back here in New Smyrna Speedway in this feature event. But it's been a clean night. These guys are still clean and green here, as that's all you got to do. And we're going to have another one. Andrew Miller looking to take the race lead away from Bryce Egan. Your pick there, Murray. He's backing up the talk right now here in this SmoothFest.
1 and 9 will be side by side out of 3 and 4. Don't think he'll quite clear for the lead here, but Samadillo still wants a piece of this. That 59 car looks super strong. Same with Laura Chung in 4th. And Samadillo looks like he's going to go for the lead heading into turn 3. So both mine and Stewart's picks doing quite well.
Maybe you don't have the commentator's jinx at this moment, but we still have about 65 laps to go here in this Mello Yello SmoothFest. How about Laura Chung there in the 20 machine? Laura Chung has not won a race on the channel since the Turkey Hill Truck Series back in 2022. It's been over 2 years since Laura Chung has gone the victory lane. What a win it would be for Laura if she can get it done here tonight in the SmoothFest. Matthew Hubert also moving his way on the inside lane, has not won a Wawa Cup Series event before, and I know he would love to go to victory lane for his team owner, Matt Tuck. Isaac Nichols as well, his first race back in quite some time, and here she comes. The defending Wawa Cup Series champion inside the top 10, Ludovic Shrem, Braden Perez, and Nathan Smith, and Drew Webb rounding out the top 10 at the moment, though Troxel's going to take that spot away. Great racing all around. They're led by Mr. Edge. Nicholas Samudio leading here on lap 11.
Still plenty of time for a lot of these drivers to make their way through the field. Much longer race than all the heats and the LCQ, so plenty of time for them to make their way forward. It'd be interesting to see if Samudio can pull away. It looks like Chung, we're good to see Chung having a very good run in the 20. Third team in 3 seasons, hasn't quite found the right fit yet, but doing a very nice job. Egan looks very competitive here in the 9. He's got to the inside of Hubert for that 3rd position. The field's starting to spread out just a little bit up and down the order, and so far it's been clean and green in this one as well, which is good. And Chung looks very racy here in the 20, closing in on Samudio.
And this is a team, I think, as we move on throughout the season, Rut Racing is a team to watch out for. They were very strong last year with Matthew Hubert, and I think Laura Chung is going to be their A driver this season based on what she's done in the past. Remember the Turkey Hill Truck Series? She almost won the championship back in 2022 there, though she has not found much success since then. But she's another driver who has not necessarily been on the strongest teams. That might all change for this season here, and it might change right here tonight as she's pushing him to Nicholas Samudio. And here comes Bryce Egan for the race lead, and it's on up front here in the Mello Yello SmoothFest. Matthew Hubert as well on the inside, but Bryce Egan to take advantage of that, and Laura's not even going to lead a lap.
Well, when I saw her running wide, I was worried that she and Samudio were actually going to maybe tank the wall there, so I'm glad that they got out of that relatively unscathed. We'll have to see how that affects their performance, but yeah, just took it a bit too wide as we see the 15 here potentially looking at a move for the lead, although it looks like Egan's going to... Oh, nope. Yeah. He's going to go for it. Egan gave that up off the corner, just went a bit too wide. Moved the 15 of Matthew Hubert up to lead that lap. And here comes Andrew Miller up for 3rd.
And Bryce Egan's going to switch right back. Nobody has been able to pull out and lead this race yet for an extended period of time. Meanwhile, you got Isaac Nichols, you got Thomas Troxel, Ludovic Shrett trying to work their way through the field up into this top 5. Troxel's in the top 5 now to the inside of Laura Chung. That's unfortunate for Laura. She didn't even lead a lap there, even though she was the leader for a moment, as Bryce Egan goes back to the inside of Hubert. And it is a madhouse up front. Hey, it's the Madhouse Classic, the race at the Madhouse on Sunday in the NASCAR Clash. I think this is going to be better than that. I really do. We got some great racing every year here in the new Smyrna Speedway and the Mello Yello SmoothFest. And even though I'm really looking forward to NASCAR coming back, I tell you, nothing beats the Wawa Cup Series, does it? Thomas Troxel up to 4th there in the 62 machine. Andrew Miller going to fall to 5th. And here comes the defending champion, Ludovic Charette. She got spun around in both of the opening Pro Series races. In the heat races, she has a chip on her shoulder from that, and the way her year has started out here on the channel. She's up to 5th now, here about a 1/3 of the way through the feature of the Mello Yello SmoothFest.
Tell you what, it's seeing really impressive drive here from Egan. He's done a very good job. And leads chopped and changed throughout, but he's always found a way to get up there. Got to keep an eye on the 62 of Troxel. He was one of those guys that, was a dark horse contender, even though he started on that outside lane. And he's always very good at the short tracks. The Pacific Racing historically have been pretty good at the short tracks. And, doing a very good job in the 4th position. And Nichols looking to the inside of Matthew Hubert for position. And he's going to get to the inside. This is an impressive run from Isaac. It's never competed in a ratings-based series before, but the 6 is looking very quick tonight.
Will he get a win here tonight in his return to racing on the channel? I mean, he was in the first 2 Pro Series races, but this was kind of the true debut for Isaac Nichols and the true test, of course, driving with a Grattan-affiliated team there, Parker Davis Enterprises. Max Davis, the owner of this team, had a great season in the Turkey Hill Truck Series with Jack Haas and Skep Silver. We might see Skep in a hot seat attempting some of these races, and will we see 3 wide? We will! Thomas Troxel going for it there on Hubert and Isaac Nichols. They've got to be careful going into the corner right here. There's contact there between Hubert and Nichols. They go wide, and Thomas Troxel, he's learning from his teammate of Blaine Keys, I think. After what we've seen Blaine do the past couple of weeks in the Pro Series, Troxel has taken to that, and he's up to second, trying to chase down Bryce Egan for the race lead.
And Troxel, it looks like he's on a mission, because I'm watching the sticker here, and it looks like he's taking some time out of the leader. That was a bold move, taking it three wide into turn number 1 there.
Comes Nichols back to the inside of Huber. That's for third. Move through the field here. You got Nicholas Sambidio in 5th. How about Brian Webb up to 6th there for Racing Motorsports to the inside of the champion. Ludovic Charette in 7th. Andrew Miller is 8th. Angel Gutierrez won the LCQ. He's in the top 10, up to 9th. Braden Perez is 10th. Laura Chung down to 11th. Bernardi Oliveira in the first half of the field. Daniel Paulus Jr., Nathan Smith, Leonard Kochmer, Blaine Keys, Drew Webb, Roberto Crown Jr., Kirsten Bell, LJ Semedo, Justin Zaidel, Travis Crampton, Bruno Diacmo, and Tanner Parton. All 24 drivers still in this race on the lead lap. Closing in on halfway in the feature event for the Mello Yello SmoothFest, and Bryce Egan won heat number 1. He is having a wonderful night here, the new Smyrna Speedway. A bit of a coming out party for him here. If he can get this win, watch out for Bryce as the season rolls along there at Trackhouse Racing. Matthew Huber getting a bit of revenge there on Troxel. Going to take second back away from the 62 machine.
All kind of going on. Right under a blanket at the moment.
Stewart's underwater.
Yeah, I mean, my internet is dying over here at the moment. But,
this race is just too much for you down there, isn't it, Stewart? Well, hey, Thomas Troxel to the inside of Matthew Huber there for the second position. You got Nicholas Sambidio, Isaac Nichols, Ludovic Charette, Brian Webb, Andrew Miller, Angel Gutierrez. It is calming down up front. Bryce Egan trying to pull away, but Troxel, if he can clear for the second position, he's going to have a very good opportunity at getting the Bryce Egan and winning this race.
And things have settled down just a bit up front. I mean, there was quite a bit of a battle for second not too long ago, but Egan is just slowly pulling away here. Well, maybe not pulling away, but that gap to second place, I haven't seen it decreasing by too much. So definitely maintaining, and look who's back up on the charge. That is the 59 of Nicholas Sambidio, who we saw up here early, got shuffled back a bit. So good job by him to be able to get back up, potentially looking at a third spot here going into turn 1.
This is a bit of a home race for him as well. So I know he'd love to get it done here in the SmoothFest, and he's got a good shot at doing it too. I think that car might be set up for the long run, and Thomas Troxel closing in on Bryce Egan here. Lap 40 of 75. You got to give these guys so much credit here tonight. They have run such a clean race in the feature. They've done it in the heats and LCQs. And you got to hand it to them. This is the top-tier series on the channel, and the best drivers and the best teams have showed up. And we're going to have ourselves a great one to finish it out here with 35 laps to go. Bryce Egan still out front. Thomas Troxel, Nicholas Sambidio, Matthew Hubert, and Brian Webb inside the top 5 here on lap 41.
I was just about to mention Brian Webb as a guy who's moving his way forward through the field very nicely. Of course, a lot of the hype going to his teammate Leonard Kochmer, but Brian Webb doing a very good job in this race in the 43, working his way through the field. And Troxel was really closing in. These guys continue to go battling for third between Hubert and Sambidio. The 62, if he can keep it clean and keep it straight towards the bottom of the racetrack, I don't think it'll be too long before Egan gets past. Albeit Egan doing a very good job still in that 9, though. A lot of credit to him for what he's been able to produce tonight.
And remember the one race that he did almost win last year. That was at North Wilkesboro. He lost it on tire strategy to Nicholas Sambidio, but if there was no tire strategy in that race, he would have gone on to win that event for Andrews Racing. And he's with the team that I think is going to be a lot better than what they were last year at Trackhouse Racing with that United Alliance. But can you beat Thomas Troxel? Good old-fashioned Thomas Troxel's been around a long time here on the channel, and he knows his stuff and he's going to take the lead away with 30 laps to go. Hey, you know what, Murray? The last time you called a race with me, Thomas Troxel went to victory lane at Nelson Ledges, but he's not going to hold on to it. Bryce Egan crossing right back over for the race lead here. And it's a great battle as Hubert and San Mateo looking to close right back in for this top spot here in New Smyrna Speedway.
It's an intense, close battle up front. Good battle for second place, too, between San Mateo and Hubert. So, man, just all kinds of good battles up front. And this 43 car, don't count him out. He's going to be looking up for fourth place up the inside and in turn one.
I don't want to say Brian Webb's a bad driver or anything, but this would be a huge upset if Brian Webb were to win here tonight. He was not on my radar at all. And here he is, looking to take third away from San Mateo, as Troxel goes back to the inside of Bryce Egan for the race lead, closing in on 25 laps to go here in the Mello Yello SmoothFest in New Smyrna Speedway. And Thomas Troxel's back out front here for Pacific Racing. This is a team. They have eyes on the owner's title, bringing in Blaine Keys and Troxel, looking to start the year off right for the Toyotas here tonight. Hubert to the inside of San Mateo there for fourth. Isaac Nichols, Ludovic Charette, Bernardo de Oliveira, Laura Chung, and Angel Gutierrez the top 10 here. 25 laps to go. Bryce Egan is still right there in the back bumper of Troxel. Troxel a little wide again. Egan trying to get to the inside, can't quite do it, and here comes Brian Webb for Racing Motorsports in the 43.
I'll tell you what, the 43 has found some speed as this race has gone along. He has worked as well, very, very well. And, you know, I think he's got the speed to match it with these two guys, particularly if they battle, albeit he ran very wide there off of turn 2. As Egan, I think, I thought he had a little peek back to the inside for that race lead, but couldn't quite do it. Tell you what though, the 9, I mean, this is a promising sign for Trackhouse. They'd be very, very picking up with a lot of
Stewart's underwater again. We apologize for that. And Bryce Egan, just like you're saying, Stuart, Trackhouse Racing is a team I think that is going to massively improve from last year. And hey, they had a win with Daniel Paulus Jr. at Atlanta last year. But I think, you know, them aligning with Racing Motorsports and Harrisville Motorsports is really going to help them out. And I think we're seeing that with Brian Webb as well, who is still in the vicinity of this race victory. The gap's kind of stayed at about 3/4 of a second. But if Bryce Egan gets back to the inside of Troxel, which it's very possible, he is still all over the back bumper of Troxel right here, and he is back to the inside. This is good for Brian Webb. This is great for Bryce Egan, trying to take the race lead away from Thomas Troxel. It's 20 laps to go here in SmoothFest in New Smyrna Speedway. Bryce Egan trying to win it for Reggie Fogelman and Trackhouse Racing here tonight. Troxel really going deep into the corner there on the 9 machine. And here comes Brian Webb. We're going to have a 3-horse race here in these last 20 laps.
Troxel really sent it into 3 and 4 there, lost a bit of time to Egan, and that's allowed Webb to catch right up to the back of him. But props to Egan, because he has not given up. When Troxel took that lead, he was hounding Troxel's back bumper. So, man, this 9 has just been putting on a masterclass tonight. We'll see if he can get it done here. Has he led the most laps? I think it might be safe to say at some point soon.
Troxel's led a lot as well. He's about to lead some more. Back to the inside, and here comes Brian Webb in the 43. Possibly one of the fastest cars on the track at this point. He has methodically worked his way through the field, and he's going to have a shot at this race victory late in the going here in the Mello Yello SmoothFest. An issue on Bernardo de Oliveira. Couple laps down in the 0. That's a shame for him. But here we go. Brian Webb's got a nose to the inside of Thomas Troxel for the race lead. Coming to 15 laps to go here in the Mello Yello SmoothFest. And Brian Webb's going to lead this lap. And they're 3 wide as De Oliveira's getting in the way of these guys a few laps down. Some guys are not going to be happy about that, but Brian Webb's happy. He's the race leader.
What a drive from the 43. I mean, this is we didn't see this in the heat that he was in. I mean, it's great speed from him and from Racing Motorsports. It's very promising, given obviously what they did last year. They lost Blaine, obviously, in the off-season, but if Brian Webb can really develop even further and make the chase this year, it'd be a very good, strong season. But I tell you what, don't count out the 6 back here as well. Nichols has been closing in ever so slightly as the race has gone on, and Matthew Hubert will be very frustrated with ironically his former ride, the 0. because the zero came out. He was on the outside of Nichols, and then De Oliveira made it 3 wide. It's not De Oliveira's fault, but it's just the way it played out.
Troxel trying to stay with this 43. Brian Webb pulling away just a little bit right here for Racing Motorsports. And I tell you, this is a driver that, he started off very well last year. Was the points leader majority of the season and then barely missed the chase there and lost his ride from Team Williams, but ended up signing with Racing Motorsports. And, he's got a great shot here with this organization and this team, and he is going to have a great shot to win this race here tonight with 10 laps to go. But he's got to fend off Thomas Troxel, who is one of the best drivers on the channel. Bryce Egan's had a great night as well. Even if he does not get the win, there is so much to be happy about with Trackhouse Racing and Bryce Egan going into this season. A very dominating performance here tonight. Bernardo de Oliveira has fresher tires from coming down the pit lane, so he is going to drive around these guys, and that could affect who gets the race win, depending on how he gets around Brian Webb. Brian Webb right now is liking what the Zero was doing to Thomas Troxel, as Bryce Egan's going to take advantage of it here for second.
Yeah, and Troxel, Troxel was probably screaming to his team like, "Hey, what's this Zero car doing up here?" But no, he'll maintain second for the time being. And incredible drive for Brian Webb. We'll see if he just lets the Zero by or.
Oh boy, almost contact.
Ooh, that's a bit
That's
close.
not a good spot. That's not a good spot at all. That'll bring Troxel in a little bit closer, and it's 6 laps to go in the Mello Yello SmoothFest, and Brian Webb cannot get back to the inside, and Troxel's right there. This race is far from over here at Smyrna Speedway, but Brian Webb is trying to get this upset win to open up the 2025 season. 5 laps to go for the Racing Motorsports driver and Aaron Abel's team.
Top 5 all still within race winning chance as Egan gets to the inside, takes advantage of Troxel, who went up the racetrack, and now the 9 back to the inside for second, and looks like he's going to get him. So good for Brian Webb, and I know those guys will be very, very happy to see the 9 getting past Troxel right here.
Brian Webb is going to come to 3 laps to go next time by. It's looking pretty good for the driver, the number 43 here tonight in the Mello Yello SmoothFest. Bryce Egan, Thomas Troxel, Isaac Nichols, and Nicholas Samadeo. That is the top 5. Tanner Pardon a bit off the pace there in the 97, but I don't think these guys are going to run into him here. And Brian Webb's got a half-second lead coming to 2 laps to go here in the Mello Yello SmoothFest, looking to get his first ever win in a Wawa Cup Series event here tonight in his 3rd Wawa Cup Series season.
What an event it would be to win to kick things off for Brian Webb. This would be a very...
Bryce Egan's closing in. Here we go. White flag in the Mello Yello SmoothFest. A clean night here in New Smyrna. Brian Webb trying to get the biggest win of his career. Bryce Egan trying to close in. I don't think it's going to be enough. And how about this for Racing Motorsports and Aaron Abel? Brian Webb is going to get them a race victory in the opening race of the season. Webb, the other Webb, wins the Mello Yello SmoothFest here at New Smyrna Speedway.
Wow, that is a very impressive drive, and this is a very good sign for the United guys, 43 and the 9, 1 and 2. It's been an interesting off-season for those guys, to say the least. So to do what they've done tonight has been very, very impressive. I think I'm just going to speak from my own perspective, not too disappointed with that result, but I know those guys are going to be over the moon.
Yeah, they're gonna love that one. We got the first 2 spots there in that United Alliance there. Of course, Trackhouse Racing, Racing Motorsports there. But who had Brian Webb winning this race? Wow. That is a huge one for Brian. This is a guy who has had success in the Wawa Cup Series. He has not gone the victory lane. If you remember, back in 2023, he almost won at Road America. Your guy, Stewart, at the time, Justin Zeidel, ended up winning that race. Brian's been a guy that's been so close so many times, but just hasn't been able to break through. And in his 3rd Wawa Cup Series season, Brian Webb goes to victory lane here in the Wawa Cup Series Mello Yello SmoothFest. What a way to start off the season. And guys, we had a perfectly clean event, but they raced the heck out of each other here tonight. I tell you what a great way to start off the Wawa Cup Series season. Brian Webb gets the win in the Mello Yello SmoothFest. Murray, we're going to have you in the booth for some of these races. Are you looking forward to this 2025 season after what you saw here tonight?
I certainly am. It's been a blast. We saw some great racing, had a good time, and I would be honored and over the moon to be back.
And Stuart, I know you had a good night as well. I know you guys didn't get the win, but I know you have to be happy about your fellow countryman there of Isaac Nichols getting a top 5 run. Ludovic Charette had a good night. How do you think this season's going to play out after what we saw here in this Mello Yello SmoothFest?
Well, it's not the be-all and end-all this race. I think I've said it like 3 times now across the whole event. But with the ratings and the way they play out, it can be indicative of how some guys might perform. So I think Bryce Egan, for example, is going to be really, really strong this year. I think he's got an upgrade in terms of equipment. And, nearly won at North Wilkesboro last year. Obviously, Brian Webb, probably the big surprise for me is him winning this race. Racing Motorsports, a very promising sign for them that he's driven so well in this race and was very, very fast. You had Troxel up there again. You'd expect Pacific to be up there. Blake Keys 18th is a bit of a surprise, but they might have strategized for other events perhaps and maybe not focused as much on this one, which is fine. But Ludovic 6th, I'm very happy with that. That's a great performance. Disappointing for Drew in 19th, but again, prioritised for other events. Sam Medea's going to be up there. I think Isaac will be up there. I hope Isaac's up there. I hope Matthew Hubert's up there. There are lots of really good drivers that are thereabouts. I think Laura Chung as well in the 20 had a solid showing too. So, and Gutierrez worked his way forward. So a lot of drivers here will be quite happy with their performance overall. Bell's another one that probably strategizes for other events. Jack Haas didn't make the race. Trey Bartow didn't make the race. It'll be a very competitive field.
I think the field is so much more competitive than it was 2 years ago, especially, and that's what's going to make this season so much fun to watch. And hey, next Friday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Time, Napa 400 at the Auto Club Speedway. And that is going to be a great sign to see who really is going to be good throughout the season. Being a Speedway, we're going to see a lot of those intermediate tracks throughout the season. And we're going to have some fun, too, with the uncharted qualifying session and then the qualifying coming back for the Wawa Cup Series. And we did this format in the Turkey Hill Truck Series last year. You guys loved it. And we're bringing back that Fast 6 single-car runs. It's going to be fun to see how many poles Blaine Keys wins this year. Sorry, Stuart, but he won 5 poles in a row in the Truck Series. We'll see if he does something similar in the Wawa Cup Series this year. But we got qualifying on Thursday night, followed by the California 100 and the Haas IndyCar Series on Thursday night. And then next Friday night, it is the Napa 400, the official opening race of the season in the 2025 Wawa Cup Series. What a race it was here from the new Smyrna Speedway. What a win for Brian Webb and the 43 team at Racing Motorsports, and they had an excellent drive. They actually Brian Webb started on the outside lane in row number 7, 14th, and went through the field to beat all those guys. Watch out for Brian Webb. Will he be the surprise driver this year? We're just going to have to find out and see. But hey, thank you so much for watching here tonight. This was so much fun to do, as it always is, and we're just getting started in this 2025 season, and we're looking forward to seeing how it all goes down starting next week at the Auto Club Speedway. We've got ourselves the Napa 400, the Daytona 500 just around the corner, and it's going to be a lot of fun seeing how the next few weeks go here in the Wawa Cup Series. Well, thank you, Stuart. Thank you, Murray. You'll hear their voices in the booth throughout the rest of the season, along with a plethora of other folks as well. We're excited to have all those guys join us as the Wawa Cup Series has kicked off with Brian Webb and Victory Lane in the Mello Yello SmoothFest. Thank you so much for watching once again. Congratulations to Brian Webb. And on behalf of Stuart and Murray, I will see you guys later.